Welcome back. It's now time for Culture, and today we'll have with us our photography critic, Virginie Ertz. But first, in the early 1900s, several wealthy cotton importers in the French town of Le Havre decided to devote much of their fortunes to modern art. Those top-notch businessmen weren't investing to make a profit. Back then, they were even ridiculed for their tastes. But many of the works they sponsored went on to become masterpieces, now on display here in Paris.
Solve the riddle. They turned cotton into Renoirs, Marquets, and Pissarros. The answer? The Modern Art Club. In the early 20th century, a group of businessmen made a fortune by importing cotton in the northern French city of Le Havre. They used much of the money to support struggling artists and buy masterpieces, classic work, and also impressionist and Fauvist art. Olivier Sen was one of these collectors. His granddaughter donated the collection to the Havre Museum. She remembers looking at the paintings for long hours.
I used to do my homework in front of this painting. The girl seemed so calm while I was struggling with my studies. She irritated me. I just wanted to throw something in her face.
In the late 19th century, Le Havre was a prosperous city. Hélène's grandfather and his friends visited galleries in Paris, organized exhibits and shows.
These men worked with the whole world. They often came to Paris and were open-minded. They bought what they liked.
Many of their friends didn't understand their passion. Since father-in-law bought him these two paintings as a practical joke. They're the craziest and ugliest I've ever seen, he said. They turned out to be two exceptional works by Durand. The group invited painters to their homes. Some, like Dufy and Marquet, painted Le Havre during their stay.
It's an eclectic collection, which gives us a good idea of what was on the art market at the time.
Thank you very much, sir, for having such a wonderful eye and such enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm indeed. The importers didn't buy art to make money, and most of them didn't. Their collections were donated to museums.
Well, here in studio with us is our photography critic, Virginie Ertz. Virginie, welcome. You're going to be talking more about photography in Cambodia a little later, but we'll start here in Paris, in one of the more famous Parisian quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to Saint-Germain-des-Prés. That is a very famous area because after the Second World War, it's the place where artists and philosophers like Simone de Beauvoir or Jean-Paul Sartre used to meet. It's very famous because of its cafes. Now there are also a lot of galleries and bookshops, and for the second year they are organizing a photo festival. It's the occasion to discover photographers, but also the occasion to rediscover this very charming area. I particularly love the exhibition about Zimbabwe in a very old chapel, the Chapel of the Beaux-Arts, and we might see some of these pictures. What is really interesting is not only the pictures of Zimbabwe, but also the contrast between these images, very colorful, and this very old chapel of the 17th century. It's very impressive. It's very bustling.
Buzzing, absolutely.
Buzzing,
yeah.
Absolutely. So let's focus now on the pictures as such. The photographer is a New Zealand human rights activist. This is the way he defines himself. He's called Robin Hammond. And he won this year a new photo reporter award called the Carmignac Award. It gave him the opportunity to spend several months in Zimbabwe and do this work of daily life under the authoritarian regime of Mugabe. I remind you that Mugabe is in power since '87, and under his rule, the country that was once the bread basket of Africa has turned in one of the poorest countries of the continent.
Some very striking images there, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these images, so you can all see all these images at the Chapelle des Beaux-Arts in the Saint-Germain area in the center of Paris. We asked, he did this report undercover. He had to hide, which is a bit difficult when you are a white man in a country where most people are black. And so we asked Robin Hammond how it was to organize this report.
The question of being white is actually, it's actually an irony that in some ways it was easier being white. I mean, the regime is very racist, and they don't like to work with white people. So when I was with people who had been victims of the regime, they would trust me because they knew that at least I wasn't one of their security agents.
And that festival running to the 9th of December.
Absolutely.
Let's now move on to Cambodia. Some inspiring photo festivals that are taking place there, it seems.
Mm-hmm. There are two photo festivals. The first takes place in Siem Reap, close to the magnificent site of Angkor that is classified on the UNESCO World Heritage List. And the second one is in Phnom Penh, the capital. We discovered some of these pictures. Both festivals that take place beginning of December have in common that they show very famous Western photographers, but they focus too on young Asian talents. And we're discovering some of those photos. I wanted to focus more on 5 photographers from the Mekong region, that is to say Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia.
Regions we all love.
Thailand and Laos,
say,
exactly. It's a region I really love because I live there. We might see some of these cliches. The first is the strange silhouette of a photographer called Ka Siong. It looks like a ghost, and actually it's a ghost because you may know maybe that in the Mekong region, ghosts or spirits are part of the daily life. So this is his focus. Now we are going to discover images from a Cambodian photographer called Hung Keo Makara, and his goal is to go beyond what you can see with your eyes. Therefore, maybe we might discover these pictures now. Exactly.
Trying to create illusions there.
Yeah, he chose actually to work with a panoramic format, but he has no adapted camera, so this is why he had to create his own system with 2 cardboard pieces on his lens, which is
dedication, certainly. To say the least.
A third photographer maybe knew now snapshots from a Burmese artist called Ngulei. There are pictures of a mobile theater, and through her work, she wants to question the concept of truth and the relation between known and unknown. And now some pictures of Bangkok that were taken last year during the floodings. You may maybe remember we saw at the TV so many images of these floodings, but the photographer, the Thailand photographer Miti Ruang Kritia, decided to take the opposite perspective and to do something very cool, very less dramatic. So,
unfortunately, we'd love to continue with the other 2 photographers you have, but we do want to finish off with Paris in the rain. I mean, you know, the City of Lights. So certainly, you know, you can go through maybe a few of the images of the prettier, gloomier images, if there's such a thing, just briefly, if possible.
Yeah, Paris under the rain. These pictures were taken by Christophe Jacquot. He wanted to show that Paris under the rain can be something very poetic, very charming. We're discovering some of his picture now, and we wanted to know why he decided to take these pictures and not take pictures, more classical pictures. Maybe we might have the time to listen to what he had to say.
Someone approached me to do some images for a Paris tourist guide. They wanted sunshine and a blue sky. It was during the spring, but the weather was terrible. It rained every day. It was a disaster. And the idea came to me like that. I said, hold on, Paris in the rain has never been done before. So really, I ended up going against the grain of what I was supposed to do.
Thank you very much, Virginie, for those lovely images. We leave you there. Do stay tuned to France 24.